How's it going, guys? My name is Tristan, and I am a YouTube mechanic, but I'm here today with an actual professional mechanic, Angie, and today we're gonna be looking at cursed repair jobs from TikTok.
First clip.
Pouring fuel out the front
that
of
looks
the
like
turbo.
Pete. Or E85. It's a 50-50. Hydrated.
I'm guessing that the fuel pump was just left on or something?
Pouring out. That's an Evo though, okay. Then that looks, if we have a closer look, there's the turbo, very close. 4G63, and with a turbo that size, we're probably gonna be looking at very large injectors if they're running high boost, likely E85. So, if you have stuck open injectors for whatever reason, yeah, it's gonna be pouring. Very common on these to run like 1600 cc injectors, which is like big boy stuff. And if the fuel pump, I think like you said, was stuck on, which a lot of times, like most cars, it times out, right? Like you key on, you have a few seconds and then the fuel pump times out. But with a lot of performance vehicles, sometimes they don't wire it like that. And the fuel pump's just running. And especially 4G63, that's gonna be port fuel injected, right? So our intake valves are likely closed, fuel is just puddling and it's just backing up through the intake and out through the turbo. That's a lot of fuel.
So it seems like this gentleman is in quite a pickle.
Yes, and the pickle is going to be what the hell happened with the ECU, right? Why is it turning all the injectors on? And that could be programming, that could be something stuck inside. That's beyond my pay grade, but I know that from that much fuel, likely the ECU is trying to turn on all the fuel injectors at the same time. So could be corrupt, could be a number of things.
This dude's literally puking fuel out of every hole in that engine, and it still looks like a dope setup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You can't even be that mad.
All right, next clip. Cool.
Oh God. Okay. Very popular. What the what?
Okay, this has happened to me before.
Interesting. He was probably trying to maneuver something inside and then he's like, oh, okay, get out. And if we look at that hole, it does look like almost like kind of like shards, if you will. So yeah, ooh. I mean, I don't. Does this finger look extra long to you or is that just me?
This is like me at the Chipotle wall. With all the holes. My dad had to grab me and like pull me, like it was swelling. I was like,
oh my God.
And that looks like something off of like a motorcycle or some sort of like, what do you think that is?
Probably, right? That's like
Yeah.
a really small case.
So one of our wonderful viewers gets their chubby little fingers stuck in a drain hole. What should you do?
Phone a friend.
Phone a friend.
That's what I
Call your
recommend.
mom.
I'd call my mom. Mom, please help me.
I mean, I can't even be mad at bro. I could see myself in this exact situation.
No, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, that sucks. So he had to stay stuck in there until they removed that case.
This case.
That's nuts.
All right, next clip.
Oh.
Oh, that's normal.
Gee.
No.
That comes free with every Subaru, along with a vape.
I'm guessing they had like just a regular lug and they just wanted to pretty it up. So they tapped a hole and put a screw.
No, I bet they broke off the lug stud. And to make it look like the lug nut was still there, instead of fixing it, it looks like they just used like a sheet metal screw or something to have the appearance or aesthetic of an actual lug nut being there.
I feel like replacing the studs would have taken 30 minutes more. It doesn't take long.
You go to take off the lug nuts and you find that? Oh my God. I have to imagine that's what happened here. Like whoever did the video is not the person who probably did that work.
That's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Yeah, so if you want to do this, go for it. Next clip. And we are live from a big crack in the earth where Justin Freeman is about to attempt the world's first light truck kickflip. Brought to you by Hankook Dynapro. And let's go down to the action. Justin, you seem a bit calm for somebody about to defy the laws of physics. What's that about?
What's there to worry about when you've got Dynapro MT2 tires? With those massive treads or reinforced shoulders, I'm about to drop in with unbeatable traction.
And look at that speed, folks. The MT2's built-in sidewall armor is really preventing punctures from slowing him down.
And with Hankook Tires Pro Mileage technology, I'll be hitting the trails for miles and miles. Nothing can stop me, not even gravity.
Oh my he did it! He actually did it!
Just over here, please.
Now that you've done the world's first light truck kickflip, what's the next world record?
I don't know, but with Dynapro MT2 tires, anything's possible. To learn more, click the link below.
On today's edition of I Can't Believe how this car actually started and made it into the shop with the melted battery. Apparently his hood prop was touching the positive terminal.
Oh, man. Well, that's fun.
I mean, really, it's just charred. I'm sure that delicious, nutritious juice inside of it's still all turboed up. It probably got heated up. That thing's probably got 300 amps right now.
Right now, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, this is terrifying. He arced it between his hood prop and the battery, so.
I was actually lucky that the battery didn't like explode and peel the hood clean off, because that can happen too.
They have that much vapor in it?
Batteries can gas. They get if they go through these periods of time of charging, and if it's hot and the electrolyte is hot inside and you got a good RPM, alternator's doing its thing, and we get a little bit of gassing or hydrogen gas above the battery if that happens. So it's just a matter of bad luck, but it just looks like just a measly melted battery.
Was he saying that it was still running and starting off of it?
I can't believe how this car actually started and made it into the shop.
It runs! I thought I heard that! Look, I bet that thing got so heated up he was going 100,000 miles an hour.
100,000 miles an hour. I bet you right.
I think this should also serve as a warning if you're ever doing a trunk setup with your battery or you're relocating it, please put it in a box. Because all it takes is one thing to arc it and you got a fire.
Yeah. Battery hold downs are important for that same very reason. Placing your hood prop appropriately would be important, but that's nuts, man. That's nuts. It started and ran. That doesn't really, scientifically, doesn't really make a lot of sense, but you know what? I'm not gonna ask any questions. I'm sure he's not lying.
He's lying. No. There's holes in it, bro.
There's no way.
Okay, next clip.
Oh,
We got some starfish.
Sucks.
Oh.
Well,
I'm guessing those are the top of his studs that have broken off.
yeah. I'm sure those were torqued to spec though. So what we're looking at is all of the heads of the bolts are all sheared off, clearly. Generally, you get that type of problem when you are over-torquing bolts. I am going to assume, though, that probably just this inexperience paired with a deep socket and correct socket probably is what happened here. Because some head bolts do have like kind of a shallow head there, and it would be easy to do that.
So PSA, the apprentice, did this.
Yeah, you kind of can see too on the bolt head, some head bolts are a little bit shallow that way, and if you're using a deep socket, because it's easier, it's hard to get, a shallow socket in. Best way to go would have been maybe a shallow socket and a longer extension rather than maybe like a deep socket, because you get too much side-to-side movement. Yeah. And then, you're just going to town.
After the first snap off,
You would have thought you would have started asking questions.
Well, homeboy's screwed. Like, I would not want to be in his shoes. Like, I'm guessing with this.
That's a bad day.
Would you just weld the nut at the top and see what you can do?
Probably. That's probably what I would do. Be the most efficient and effective way to get those off, and then you got to replace the bolts, obvi, and then start again and get a new job. Next clip.
Well, Brian got a beautiful new truck here, and we got an interesting problem. Every time you start it up, that belt will pop this way, and when you shut it off, it'll pop back on.
No way, I don't believe
Go ahead and start it,
Let's
Brian. Shut it off. Oh, it didn't pop back on.
It just seems like an alignment issue.
It does look like a misalignment issue. If it was something having to do with, like, let's say the crank pulley itself, we would see wobbling around. So likely it's gonna be an alignment of one of the other pulleys, just that's
Or maybe
offset.
like a bearing and an accessory thing has gone bad or something, throwing it off.
Yeah, possibly. If a bearing was that bad, you'd probably hear it.
PSA, they said the harmonic balancer on the truck was worn down.
So the harmonic balancer does have two raised edges to try to help keep the belt in line, but that's not what ultimately keeps the belt in line. It's the alignment of the pulleys, like Tristan said, that's gonna keep the belt in line. The side of the pulley is raised either right at or above where the belt is, so I'm probably Gonna call BS.
Cap. We call cap on the harmonic balancer. Probably he switched it out and in the process realigned the pulleys.
I'm gonna assume it's an alignment issue. I'm gonna assume.
All right, next clip.
Got to make sure that engine bay is fresh, but now it's time to press in those new bushings. So I went ahead, put it in the shop press, got it lined up with the doohickey, and began the magic of destroying it.
Just bending the control arm.
That's right, y'all. The fun never stops. Maybe this will help. Putting it. Ah!
He didn't start it straight, I think.
That's me.
Oh my God.
I shouldn't have said it. I should have just waited. I should have just waited to hear what you had to say.
That's an idiot, huh?
Basically, what had happened was I had accidentally cut out the metal sleeve for the polyurethane bushing, so I had to get one with the metal sleeve.
I see.
So it's not the best company that I was using, so the tolerances were off. I cleaned out the powder coating on the arm.
Yeah, but it still wasn't enough.
The biggest thing was that because it was thin sheet metal, I was not bracing it as I was putting.
Nope, you could, yeah, and that control arm, I could definitely see that. Looked like it would be really easy to do.
What I ended up doing is I used a ram jack to push it back open, and then when I did end up pushing the bushings
braced it.
I put a bunch of sockets in there.
There you go, perfect. Yeah, I would have done that. 100% solid.
But I just wasn't expecting a piece of suspension to just bend.
You know,
like
you wouldn't think that, but I guess we're not like, a control arm is meant for the in and out movement, not so much like the back and forth. And you can, I mean, that definitely looks super thin, so easy to do for sure.
So now whenever I'm putting bushings in, I'm gonna brace.
You know what though? Honestly, I feel like the best lessons are learned from failure. Mm-hmm. So much more than success.
Next clip.
Oh, I've seen this happen a lot of times. That's a big bug, though. Okay, that's a little extra. Now we got to start all over.
He's like in a sealed booth, too.
That does suck, that bug. Okay, he must not have seen it, because that bug made a way. Like, they didn't see that.
Can you imagine how hard that bug is tripping right now with that clear coat just gassing?
Who am I?
I don't think, so
Where
you guys
am I?
have never laid clear coat before or done like two-part paint, please wear a respirator. Because people are like, oh, like haha, brake clean, I'm getting high. No, it's killing you. You could try to sort of remediate just a little splotchy area where Homeboy was noodling around. But honestly, this is a small panel. It'd probably be best to start over. Rest in peace.
Rest in RIP to that.
I would have just cleared over it. The minute I saw it, I'd be like, oh shit. Quick PSA, kids. If it says do not inhale, don't inhale it.
Probably not good.
Next clip.
Okay. Well, that's just the, okay, so is that that looked like our little feed from the reservoir? So that wasn't like an actual like big coolant hose, but that is gonna be a problem.
It's like a new radiator, and I guess they didn't take the little caps off.
That's what it looks like. You've just put the hose right over it.
It looks like there's coolant exploding everywhere.
Yeah, that's, Jesus Christ. The small line tells me that it's not gonna be an actual radiator hose. So we still have flow going to and from the engine. However, if it is our return, because we can see from this radiator, it doesn't look like we have a radiator cap, right? So this is probably a degas bottle. So you have two valves. You have a pressure relief valve and you have a vacuum valve. That pressure relief valve is so when we build up too much pressure, rather than the radiator exploding or something else exploding, it just pops off and releases pressure back into the degas bottle or reservoir. But this is a little bit interesting. So it must be like a return from the reservoir back into the radiator. That's why I'm trying to see the setup here, because I'm not familiar with whatever car this is. But it's a small line, so I can see how like one would have driven it for a period of time. Wouldn't be long before you'd start to see coolant starting to, pissing out, but peeing out and
Pooping out.
Pooping out. That'd be the technical term. So I suppose, when you piss out all your coolant, worst case scenario, you overheat and you blow a head gasket if you're really not paying attention. But you'd have to like really, really not pay attention to let it go that far. It's not that big of a deal. But if I was the mechanic working on it, I'd be really embarrassed. Let's take a look at that next clip. Torque strength.
Why are you twerking it?
There we go. Only 4 more left.
go. Get your body weight on it, buddy. Yeah, he's just not using his body weight. He's got a long enough ratchet or torque wrench, it looks like, but the fact of the matter is you gotta get up in there. You gotta get your weight on top of it. Sometimes you gotta step on it. But I'm a small person. Surprise.
I'm also a micro machine.
Micro machine, I like that. I'm gonna use that. But you generally want to get your weight on top of it so you don't have to use as much. I mean, I've got so much, I don't need to worry about that, but I'm just kidding. But you gotta use what you have, right? So you either get a bigger tool, he's got a pretty big tool already. Well, I don't know, maybe not, but you generally want to get your weight on top of it rather than trying to pull it like that, because you're just working so much harder, and unless you have that brute strength, you're just gonna struggle, and you know, maybe ladies will make fun of you. I don't know.
I'm sorry, my little short king, but you didn't have the torque to pull it off. So on to the next clip.
You put something under that, buddy? Let's go. Oh.
Is it just spinning?
Oh, sad day. Sad day. No, he's, okay, so I'll tell you what the mistake he's, oh. If you have the bestest boy to help you.
I feel you, bro.
The big mistake that he's making when he's doing this is you have to try, if you can, to try to get like some sort of flat blade screwdriver that you don't care about while you're trying to loosen it. That way it's getting some pressure to come out, because if not, you'll be there all day. It doesn't matter how strong of an impact you have, it's just gonna spin, 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 because the threads are stripped. So you have to have some force prying it down as you're spinning. I've been there.
Same. If it's a bolt that doesn't go into like a cavity like that, what I like to do is just drill out as much as I can and just take an air hammer and just notch the sides.
No, for sure, totally, yeah.
Poor man. I'm glad you have a canine companion to help you.
Yeah.
But now you know what to do. So next clip.
Who knows what this means? Yeah, buddy. This is a great test. I love this test. That test is so cheap and easily accessible. It's great.
And when it turns Baja Blast green, you know you're in for a very bad time.
It's great. I forgot about that. Taco Bell. So this is a test to see if you have a blown head gasket. They call it a block tester, but it's mainly gonna see, the most common thing you're gonna test for is a blown head gasket.
So what I'm guessing is there's some sort of chemical in there that when the exhaust gas is combined with it, it turns green.
You're 100% right, yeah. So I love this test because one, the tester's cheap. You can get one at any auto parts store for like 20 bucks. Fill the tester up to that line, the fill line, and then what you're gonna do is you need to warm the vehicle up with the pressure cap off. If you put it with the pressure cap on when it's hot, that's no-go. We never remove pressure caps on the cooling system. When the vehicle's hot, flash boils, psh, you have a geyser, and you get a shower of really hot scalding coolant. So to avoid that, you keep the cap off, start the car, turn it on, let it warm up. Once the vehicle's warmed up, now this is important because the thermostat has to open up in order for the contaminated coolant to circulate through wherever we're testing at. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a bulb on that tester that's going to suck air from above the coolant. And that air, if it contains combustion gases, is going to have a chemical reaction with the test fluid, and it's gonna turn it either green, or if it's really bad, full-blown yellow.
All right, next clip. I can't even.
Look at oh, come on! The whole ass connector? Wow. Okay, that is nuts.
I can also see myself doing that.
Okay, so I will say this is not common. I just put that out there.
Is this the same as like surgeons accidentally sewing you up with a rag still in you?
That's probably a lot more common.
PSA on this one. There's a comment on this video. The guy writes, everyone is asking how this is even possible from actual mechanics. Hate to say it, but I've done this. When trying to set a 50-pound head onto the motor that's still in the car, it can be easy to get tunnel vision.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, you don't see this a lot, but just in general, for sure. Especially you're working alone, you don't have a spotter or something, or somebody to help you out. I will say sometimes, using other tools, working smarter, not harder, maybe you can try to use a cherry picker or something to help guide things down. But especially you're a flat rate tech and you're just gotta make that money, got customers waiting, or this, car's gotta get picked up. I mean, I can see how something like that would happen. You're trying to finagle something into place or move it. It's heavy, you're sweating.
Yep.
Sweat's going into your eyes and you're just like, please
It's
get
2
out.
a.m.
It's 2 a.m.
It's 2 a.m. You're covered in grease and dirt and you're sweaty and you're thirsty and you gotta take a poo. I'm not gonna be like, I would never do that. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, then that's when you start Googling, other career paths.
Yeah.
Next clip, please.
I gotta tell you guys, this charger that Snap-on sells is like the best charger ever. Gives you the percentage, battery voltage. This battery, in like another 10 minutes, will be fully charged.
Well, this is a proper charger. Notice how it's charging under 14.5 volts because this battery is an AGM battery, so it's not overcharging it. The catch is absorbed glass mat or AGM batteries cannot be charged above 14.5 volts, or else you will either just completely destroy the battery or at the very least reduce the life of the battery. So most new chargers, they usually either automatically detect it or have an option where you can say it's an AGM or a flooded battery. I don't know that I'm necessarily gonna blame the Snap-on charger one. Snap-on's a very high quality battery charger. Send me a battery charger, Snap-on. Sorry, Optima batteries. I think I might throw you under the bus here. Optima batteries do not have a good reputation, so it could just be a battery that has malfunctioned or wasn't manufactured properly.
Swag. All right, guys, thank you for watching. If you like this video, I'm sure you'll like this video with Paul Meeker, legendary Toyota mechanic, reacting to some of the worst Toyota fails on the internet. All right. Thank you so much, Angie. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks.
And I really enjoyed soaking up some of that wonderful knowledge.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm happy to help.
All right, thank you guys. See you later.